Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. And we certainly are. And we want to say hello to our dear friends that come on with us on a regular basis. And if you're new this morning, you get your notifications. Don't be shy. Say hello. Join our team. Hi, Brahim. You're number one on the hit parade. Back up on number one this morning. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Kevin, there they are. Right at the top. Rosa from Montreal. Good morning to you. Hi, Lisa. And Nativity, good morning. And Lucille, nice to have you on this morning. And so happy to say hi to Carol in New Brunswick. Rosalinda in Niagara Falls. Judy in New Brunswick, good morning. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. And Brahim says, yeah, he loves being number one. Sandy, Vancouver, Washington. Mary, saying hi to Dave and Helga. And Sandy in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Fran in Orangeville. Patricia from Florida. Denise in Chatham, Kent. Wendy from Markham. And Brahim is saying hi to his buddy Kevin. Nick saying hi with Willie. Good morning, Nick and Willie. How are you? Nellie, Frida, Brahim, he's always saying hello to his friends. Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland, and Janice in Brampton, good morning. Maureen, how are you, Maureen, in Boca Raton? Wanda, Virginia. Cheryl, Mississauga. Etta, good morning to you. And Bonnie in Little Britain. Tina, in the clouds. Cindy, how are you? Lori in Alberta, good morning to you. Bright and early. Wanda, Ridgeway, Ontario. And Rosalinda saying the only reason she wasn't at the top, she was in the cloud. Hey, Sharon, Kansas, good morning to you. Cheryl in Lighthouse Cove. Lynn Marie, how are you? Francis in Vaughan. Cheryl in West Virginia. Okay, a couple of more. Lorraine, British Columbia. Donna in Newfoundland. And let's see. You guys are saying hello to each other, which I love, by the way. Okay? I really like that. Hi, Lynn Marie in Arlington, Minnesota. David in Ridgeway. Karen in Peterborough. You guys are unreal. And a hello, Patricia in Pulaski, Tennessee. Jessica, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And Judy and Carol. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you for coming on. Okay, now, let's look at a few studies this morning. Hi, Dennis. And, okay, just 4 minutes. Okay, so what they did with seniors, okay? I put my hand up. I'm a senior, okay? I got a senior's card. I use it a lot. It comes in very handy. Whenever I forget anything or do something stupid, I pull out my senior's card. I said, I'm a senior. What do you expect? And you know, you get a lot of grace when you're a senior. I love it. Here's my senior card. No wonder. Anyway, just 4 minutes of vitamin E. Exercise. Just 4 minutes daily dramatically improves balance and mobility in seniors. Okay? Now, this is really important because one of the biggest problems as you get older is balance and mobility. And how many seniors fall? A lot of times they're on medications. Their blood pressure goes down, they're low, they get up fast, or they trip. A lot of seniors trip and they don't have the proprioception. They don't have that reflex like they used to correct the fall, if you know what I mean by that. And this study is showing that 4 minutes, and you can do this, because when I read the article, you can do this in your kitchen or whatever, where you're holding on to something, but you're doing some exercise. A lot of people do biking indoors even. It helps. Now, one of the best things you could ever do is start getting stronger. You know how much we love that and emphasize that. Get stronger. I don't care how old you are, you can get stronger than you are right now. One of the biggest things is grip strength. They're actually talking about making grip strength another vital sign. Like your blood pressure, your pulse rate and temperature and all that. Those are vital signs. And they're literally talking about grip strength as being another vital sign, because that is so important. I shook hands the other day with, I think he's 88 years old. He almost took my hand off. I said to him, you're going to live a long time. I'm not a prophet nor the son of one, but I think the only way you're going to die is if you get hit by a bus. You ain't going to die any other way, at least not in the foreseeable future. His grip strength was so good. Another thing, anyway, just because we're on the topic, is they're actually talking about using this too as a very diagnostic vital sign, and that is getting off the floor on your own. It's a lot easier or a lot harder than it sounds, isn't it? Like, get off the floor without any help. What? Just get on the floor and then get up. It's not easy if you don't have that strength. And again, 4 minutes daily of exercise dramatically improves balance and mobility in seniors. Guys, vitamin E. Okay? Vitamin E. Interesting, because I talked about this a while back. The flu shot. Okay? They're just looking at the stats. The flu shot, and this was in the UK, okay, the United Kingdom. Flu shot study, it doesn't work in obese people, okay? The flu shot, not that I have ever been big on the flu shot, guys, okay? To be honest, even on my radio show, I had to be careful because, it's public in the sense that, and I would never tell anyone not to take a flu shot, okay? I couldn't do it in my media days. And even today, I'm reticent to tell someone they can't take or they shouldn't take a flu shot. Just because, Facebook and every other media outlet, they sort of, they don't like it. And the College of Physicians and Surgeons don't like it. And, there's a lot of opposition to talking against something like that. But I used to tell people this, okay? This is what I would always caution them, or rather give them advice on this. You know what? you take your own flu shot. I don't care if you take the other one. I'm not taking it. Okay? That's my decision. I don't take the flu shot. But I used to tell my patients, and I told my audiences over the years, you take your own flu shot. I don't care if you take the other one that society wants you to take. Here's your natural flu shot. Okay? And it always included vitamin D. Always. And vitamin A, the invisible mask. Eat steak. Eat steak. One of the best things you can do for your immune system. Cut out sugar. One of the best things you can do for your immune system, because sugar puts your immune system to sleep. Okay? We're going to talk about this in a minute again. But this is just came out of the UK. The flu shot does not work in obese people. They don't have the antibodies to fight the flu. Amazing, isn't it? Now, did that hit headline news? Nope. I had to go and find that in my studies and behind the scenes. I get a lot of studies. I don't read every study. I read the headline, and then if I, because I get hundreds every day. But I got this one. And I said in my head, this will never come out. Not public anyways, not in the mainstream media, that obese people, the flu shot doesn't work. You need to take the natural one. The one you can do yourself. Okay? And I was very big on that. Oil of oregano. We talked about it yesterday. Is there anything more powerful, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal than oil of oregano? And cut out the sugar. Okay. Now, question. Do you have insulin resistance? Okay. Now here's one way to find out. Okay. You can look at your blood work and interpret the blood work on your own. In the book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, we go over those tests to look and see if you have insulin resistance. Okay? And we talk about it. A1C. Okay? If you can get your fasting insulin done, good. But one thing they will do is your A1C. You don't have to convince your doctor to do A1C. And A1C, if you're above 5.4, you have insulin resistance. If your triglycerides are high, you have insulin resistance. If your HDL cholesterol is low, you have insulin resistance. If you have uric acid high, you have insulin resistance. Any elevated, even blood pressure, okay? You have insulin resistance. It's really important to get that. Any visible sign of belly fat, you probably have insulin resistance. Okay? Now, I want to talk to you about, and I've written about this in the past. We've done shows on this, but I want to talk to you about things that are symptoms, are problems that you might have or your friends have, or your family has, and they have no idea that it may be linked to insulin resistance. Okay, some of you are thinking right off the top of your head, yeah, I know that, but a lot of people don't. I used to have a chart in my office. It was fascinating, okay? We had a chart in my office that showed you were likely to have insulin resistance, and we put these conditions up that I'll talk about right now, and people were flabbergasted. What? What's that got to do with insulin? For example, vertigo, tinnitus. I rarely go a week that I'm not asked on Q&A Fridays about vertigo or tinnitus, ringing in the ears. What does that have to do with insulin resistance? Well, there's a huge connection. It's not always insulin resistance, but again, we're looking at things that are often associated with insulin resistance, okay? And people don't think about that. They've never been told. They didn't read my books. Insulin and cortisol, two hormones that want you dead, serial killers, written in 2011. Talk about this. Joint pain. A lot of people, and again, I brought this to you, I think last week or the week before, that frozen shoulder, for example, almost invariably has a link to insulin and insulin resistance. Joint problems. Okay? Just a generalized joint pain. A lot of people got that. A lot of people live on Advil or Tylenol for joint pain. It's no fun. They're sore all the time. A lot of times. And this is, guys, another reason that we started the reset. Years ago, in my clinic, the reset. Do 30, almost everyone that came into my office was sent out with a plan for food to change their insulin resistance because we tested it. And I said, well, now you're going to do the reset. We're going to take you out of insulin resistance. We're going to make your cells at the cellular level, especially your muscle cells, your liver cells, your fat cells, to be much more sensitive to insulin. The more, be sensitive. Are you sensitive? Okay. A lot of patients used to look at me. I said, I'm a very sensitive person. I want you to be more sensitive to insulin. What? Well, I want your cells to be more receptive. Why? Because if your pancreas, which secretes insulin, at the cellular level, if your cells say, insulin, how are you today? Thanks for coming by. I'm sensitive. Here, I'll open my doors to you, insulin, rather than insulin resistance, which is like a bad neighbor who comes knocking on your door all the time and you're tired of it. And that's what happens at the cellular level. Your cells resist it. I'm sick of you. Why are you coming? Well, I'm coming because you insist on being a carboholic. You insist on it. I got a job to do. If you eat carbs, you're secreting insulin, and insulin's got a job to do. It will not allow sugar to park in the bloodstream. Therefore, it has to come to the blood and say, follow me. You can't park here. Now I got to park you in parking spots made for you. Okay? And the more you do that, the more your cells go, I'm so sick of seeing you come to my door. Insulin resistance. Okay, so what did we talk about this morning? Vertigo, tinnitus, joint pain, oftentimes related to insulin resistance. Who knew? I used to tell patients, we're going to change your diet to make you more insulin sensitive, and many of you are going to find out, holy smokes, I used to have pain all the time. I don't have it. I used to have tinnitus. I don't have that anymore. I used to have vertigo. I don't have that anymore. Not always. But, guys, I'm not just making this up. This is documented. But you won't hear about it very much. Hey, don't wait for the pharmaceutical companies to come around on this, okay? They're selling billions of dollars of medication for tinnitus, vertigo, joint pain. Here's one. Okay, here's another one. And people, they used to look at my chart and they were kind of surprised. Skin tags, Dr. Martin? Yeah. When you see a skin tag, pretty well 99.9, you have insulin resistance. You're kidding me. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. How about carpal tunnel? I remember studying. I don't know if I told you this story or not, but I was interning. And we had a prof. Everything to him was carpal tunnel. If you had any kind of wrist pain or, hand pain, carpal tunnel. Okay? And I remember I come home for about a month in the summer. I was interning, and I worked with my dad, in the office. And whenever I see anything I said, Dad, that's carpal tunnel. And he'd start laughing, like, where did you learn that? I said, at school. He said, well, not everything is carpal tunnel. Okay. But it was very popular. I'm talking about 1972 or 73. And he said, nah, that ain't carpal tunnel. Okay? Because he never studied carpal tunnel. And he was right, though. Like, I had everybody with but guys, carpal tunnel, you know how many people get surgery on carpal tunnel? And the research is showing, okay, very much involved is insulin with carpal tunnel syndrome. And what's the connection? Well, nerves. Blood supply to nerve. Like, think of neuropathy, okay? Like diabetic neuropathy. I saw that 10,000 times in my office. A diabetic retinopathy and diabetic neuropathy in their feet, especially. Okay? No fun. Well, what's that got to do with diabetes, neuropathy? Well, because blood supply, which is damaged by diabetics, leads to neuropathy, nerve pain. Blood supply to the nerves. Diabetics know all about it. Okay, so when you hear carpal tunnel, don't let it shock you so much. I'm not saying it's always the case, because some people get a real carpal tunnel because of their workplace or whatever. But a lot of times it's amazing how much better they get when they cut out the crappy carbohydrates. Diet, guys, is incredibly important. You know that. I know that. But the world, man, not so much. Moderation, Dr. Martin. Moderation, says every dietitian that I ever met. Moderation. I say no. Elimination. I was into elimination, not moderation. Okay? What? You got insulin resistance? You want to fix it? We need to talk. And this has to do with eliminating, not moderation. A diabetic, guys, okay? And remember, again, remember this, very important. Diabetes is the last thing that happens to a person. Never the first thing. It's the last thing. It's been going on for 10, 15 years. They've been on the Titanic. No one told them, but they were. They didn't know it. Okay? So, really, really important to understand that. Okay? And so, they were not getting along with any food that turns to sugar rapidly. They weren't getting along, but they didn't necessarily know it. And a lot of times they had symptoms that if the doctor, their doctor, or a doctor knew anything about insulin and insulin resistance, they might have given them the heads up. But you guys got to be your own doctor. Not that you're dismissing your doctors, but you got to be sort of self-educated. This is why I do this program on a daily basis. Education, 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 right? Okay. Now, carpal tunnel, gout. Gout is insulin resistance, okay? And I know, they talk about purines. I studied purines in the 1970s. Purines is the cause of gout. And guys, you know this because we've done a lot of programs on gout over the years. Nah, it ain't purines, okay? It ain't. It's not. Gout today is worse than ever. And the worst culprit for gout is high fructose corn syrup. That's why gout is up 300%. Listen, there was gout since the beginning of mankind. There is recorded gout in the Bible. Like there's gout, okay? In ancient textbooks, gout has been around, but it's never been as prevalent as it is today. And I always tell people this. Mankind invented, because they think they're smarter than God. Okay, man always thinks they're smarter than God. So what do? They invent things. And look, I'm not against inventions, but one of their worst inventions was high fructose corn syrup. Oh, we're gonna get sugar that's addictive, addict, worse than cocaine, or every bit as bad. High fructose corn syrup. And because high fructose corn syrup, the way it's built molecularly, okay? It sounds healthy, right? High fructose. Oh, fruit. Fructose. Must be good. No. Because fructose goes right to the liver. Right to the liver. Okay? So, your liver is the Costco parking lot. Go by I don't know if you live near a Costco. I do. Soon as it's open, it's busy. Like it's crazy. If I want to go see my old patients, I go to Costco because I always run into some of my old patients. Every time. Dr. Martin. And then they're looking in my cart to see what I got. Okay? But high fructose corn syrup goes directly to the liver. Why do you think even children today have fatty liver? I never, ever, ever would have thought that children would get fatty liver. But they do. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. But fatty liver in a child? Yep. High fructose corn syrup. It's in every soda. You go in the middle aisles of your grocery store. It's the sugar of choice. It's cheap. Very cheap. It's made in a lab and then in a vat. V-A-T. And it's put into the foods that we are eating. It's craziness because it does not get processed like ordinary sugar. It just doesn't. Whoop! To the liver. And guys, it's one of the biggest factors in gout. Okay? And I never tell a patient to get rid of red meat, ever. And gout, that's not your problem. Well, the king got gout. Yeah, the king was drinking way too much beer and wine. Okay? That's why they called it the king's disease. The peasants didn't get it. Remember, sugar used to be very expensive, you know. Up to 100 years ago, sugar was expensive. It wasn't cheap. Okay? Now, the food industry, which are liars, pants on fire, the food industry lies and people die. Because they're liars. Wow. Little moderation is good for you. So your granola bar is better than bacon, according to the food industry. Right? It's better. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's not even close. And if you got insulin resistance, you never have another granola bar in your life. You hear me? Stop it. Okay. I didn't even get through half of them. Well, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Now listen, guys, I'm on the road, but I'm planning on doing my session tomorrow. Okay? Might be shortened a little bit. What's Friday? What's Friday? Q&A. So send your questions in to info@martinclinic.com. Guys, if you post your questions here, okay, I don't see them. I wish I could answer your questions, but during the program, I don't see them, guys. I'm focusing in on you, not what you're writing here. I see it going by the scroll, but I'm not reading it. Only when I say hello to you when we first start the program. Okay, so a lot of people, they put their questions there, but I go, man, I don't see them. Okay? You got to send them in to info@martinclinic.com. Okay? info@martinclinic.com. Okay, I'm taking a breath. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.